Guys, so let's go ahead and talk about this other project that you're going to have to work on today, which is called our cell analogy or cell setting project. To find it, you'll just have to go down to the calendar. It'll be its own term. This is kind of like our AK grade for this second unit in the second 9 weeks. It's really easy to find. It's just the cell analogy project. It's worth 16 points, 16 AK points. You guys are used to this. You know the song and dance that goes along with this one. Every time we have a test, we have a little project that goes along with it. And so what we're talking about here is the cell analogy project. This is a very easy one. Okay, it's a very easy one to get 16 out of 16 on. I think once you see the directions, you will feel much better about this. All right, so all you guys are going to be doing is creating these cell analogies. In other words, something that we can make a really easy comparison to the cell with. I think you guys have been in the hallways and you've seen this stuff outside of particularly Mrs. Kramer's door. She has all those pictures with different things that we're making comparisons to the cell. And so you guys are going to take a eukaryotic cell and you're going to compare it to something, and you're going to specifically identify 8 different organelles to something that is very common. Okay. So the first task that you'll need to do is just pick a theme, right? This could be almost anything that you want. I just give you some examples here. It could be a school, it could be a car, a plane, armed forces. We'll skip some of those ones. I mean, they can be anything, guys. You could do the Death Star if you're a nerd like me. It could be Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings style. It could be Avengers Tower. It could be anything like this. Corporation, casino. It could be a city, a hospital, a university, a sports team, something, anything you want. It can be literally anything that you want as long as it is appropriate, and you guys know how to make that judge. Okay. Now, task number 2, after you've actually picked it, will be to choose the cell organelles that you're going to actually use. You're going to need 8 of them. Okay, at least 8. 4 of those are required. You have to have the cell membrane, you have to have the nucleus, you have to have the mitochondria, and you have to have the chloroplast, because especially the cell membrane with cell transport, we went thoroughly into cell membrane, mitochondria, chloroplast. When you're thinking about cell respiration and photosynthesis, we really talked about those guys. The rest of them can be up to you, whatever you want them to be. I give you 4, you have to give me another 4, but outside of that, that's your call. Don't add in some that we've never talked about. Okay, right in here. For example, in some of your resources, you'll see things called centrioles. Those are an important organelle, but they're not something that we covered. And so I don't want you to focus on those. Just keep those out. Okay. You only do the ones that you find on our information that we've gone ahead and covered. All right. The last task of this is, after you've picked your 8 things, you're either going to use squid, which is acceptable, or you can use paper. And guys, you've seen the examples outside of Mrs. Kramer's. I have that big roll of paper in the room somewhere. I know it's there. Okay, there's this giant roll of white paper that if you wanted to cut off larger squares to use for this, that's totally fine. I would love to hang these in the hallway when I get back. But you're going to create a map of your cell that has pictures and the names of the different organelles. So what you think like your cell would actually look like. And this is going to be done in groups. So I'm thinking probably groups of 2 to 3 would be perfectly fine for this. And all you're going to have to make sure that you do is include your name in your section on the artwork somewhere so that we can see it. Here's some examples, just so that you guys can scroll through these and see them. Obviously, we've got cell school. When you look at some of these things, now this would be like an outdoor thing, but like take for example, there's a fence. And our school doesn't necessarily have a fence, but that's totally fine. Your school can have a fence. The office would be the nucleus, right? So these are just different things for you to take into consideration. An example of a cell ship, right? Captain's quarters. There's your nucleus again. Right? Down here, the engine, the mitochondria, because it produces all that energy. So you can see how some of these things are starting to go together. Again, it's totally up to you what you pick. Just make sure that you are able to match up these different organelles with it. One more, an analogy of a cell for for the science class. I think the DNA in this case is the teacher, okay, because they have all the information, all that good stuff. The outer walls of the room would be the cell wall. You guys see how this thing works. And so you're seeing how easy it would be to get a 16 out of 16. Now, just real quick, here's the rubric, right? I'll give you a point for you including 8 organelles. You have 8 organelles in there and they make sense. Let's say like you didn't put centrioles in there, you're going to get an 8 out of 8 on that one. Are you creative? Does it, is your theme creative? Or most of your organelle comparisons very good fits? For example, like it would be very strange if you were to pick cell science class and then you put your teacher as the cytoplasm. Like that really wouldn't work very well. So I'm looking for you to make good comparisons. They got to fit very well. Right. And then the aesthetics. How does it look? Does it look like one of these where it looks really good? Or did you scribble on a piece of paper? Okay. If it looks really, really good, you're going to get a 4 out of 4. If it doesn't, if it looks okay, you got some color in there, maybe a 2 out of 4. But if you just slop some garbage on there, it's probably getting a 0 out of 4 on that one. Okay. So guys, this went a little bit longer than what I was hoping for, but I want to really make sure that I explain this. You're going to work on this today and then after the test again tomorrow. So just keep that in mind today and after the test when you have some time. This will be due on Friday. So you have some time. I haven't fully put the plan for the week together yet, but you're getting a little bit of time today and you know that you're going to get some time after the test tomorrow. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be there.